Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and another video for you. After remaking the one earlier and making it even longer than it should have been, but totally different topic, and what I want to talk about is something I've kind of been going over already, and that's preparing for the global event assault mode that's coming soon. And if you're not familiar with it, if you have not got a chance to play around with it in the PTS, and yes, the PTS for 1.7 had, for I think 1 day only, it had the global event assault mode. Not just the one we already had, but it did play through and let you go through for a solid day of doing global event assault. Now, in the previous global event, what was happening was with the modifiers. You had the headshot bonus, where if I shoot somebody in the head with a pistol and then somebody else on my team shoots them in the head with a... It doesn't matter what gun. If I get a headshot, then you get a headshot. No matter if it's 100% health, named elite boss, 2 headshots from 2 different people would instantly kill them. Cool. That allowed you to get the Pistol Pete achievement relatively quickly and easily, because once you're in like Dragon's Nest and you're sitting there with a shield and hopefully a good reclaimer build where you can sit there and resist all of the garbage going on, you and your teammates can take turns just popping guys in the head and getting them while they got that bonus, and made life really simple. However, being closer to the NPCs, they carried an infection, and you got infected, and it quickly started diminishing your health. Okay, that aside, what's going to happen in Global Event Assault for sure is one of the modifiers is just the opposite. When you're in close proximity to the enemy NPCs, you're going to get a significant damage bonus. By that I mean it is a big bonus. So if you're, I think it's within 10 meters, if you're in that close range, then you're going to absolutely just destroy the NPCs. So the first logical thing to do is to create a build that's going to allow you to, this is again, my videos are geared towards the casual gamer who oftentimes is running solo or even with a group. But if you're running solo for global event assault and you want to maximize the speed of which you're actually able to clear these missions, you need to have the right gear set. And my first idea for a gear set is not the current one I'm playing with right now. It's a D3 FNC build, and this is the way I have my loadout set for this particular setup here. As you can see, I've got 52, almost 5,300 for firearms, just shy of 2,900 for stamina, and just under 7,200 for electronics. Now, the reason why I have it set up like this is with the D3 FNC 4-piece set, you're going to have the ability to utilize your shield and a submachine gun at the same time, instead of being forced to use the handgun only, which kind of sucks when you're trying to melt down enemies quick. So if you have a good SMG, and in this case I've chose to run the PP19 simply because I can get a much larger magazine capacity and respectable damage. I'm not really going for the rate of fire, I'm going for the ammunition count. And this is one of the highest capacities you can get in an SMG. One of the other options I looked at was actually running it with the Tommy gun, because 110 rounds. Now the Thompson, not quite as big. And again, you only get the 30 round magazine, or a limited magazine capacity. This one I just chose to run a heavy magazine spring just because, just for quicker magazine changes, just to see how that affected similar style guns, with the fact that both of them have Carefree for its final perk. That's going to kind of backfire in 1.8 because you're going to lose the hipfire crosshair. So hipfire, you're going to be penalized more for running hipfire. So just doing more damage is okay, but unless you're cheating and using a monitor-based crosshair, which I don't recommend doing. It's just kind of a cheesy cheat thing to do, to find your center point, to try to cheat your way in hipfire. Don't be that guy, because I'm sure they're going to start checking for that, and you potentially get bans for that. So again, I chose something with a high magazine count. I'll probably keep changing through, because as you see, I've got one that requires stamina. I don't have the talents set up the way that I want them just yet. These are just, yeah, whatever. You need to find a good SMG, preferably something with a high magazine capacity, that has good talents that you like, with high critical hit chance and high base damage. I haven't found that particular gun yet. I'm still kind of working on it. As you see this right here, I'm running Talented on the PP19. Killing a target with this weapon increases skill power by 15%. That's kind of a good and bad thing. I don't know if it's going to be great or not, but having Fierce gives you a critical hit chance increased by 5%. So higher chance to actually get a critical hit. It's going to be a good thing. Hurried, meh. Like I said, these are just temporary guns. I really haven't worked on getting the right guns just yet. I've got so many, I just keep testing a bunch of different types out. Now, I am running Barrett's Bulletproof Chest. It is rolled for electronics. Again, I'll explain why I'm going higher on electronics than I am on firearms, and pretty much ignoring on my stamina. But it's for this right here, for the Barretts. You don't have to run this. Another great option for this build would be to actually run a classified. Exotic damage resilience really is good and bad, but I would say if you have a classified Lone Star, I'd probably go towards that, just simply because of the ammunition count, because you're going to burn through some ammunition. May or may not be good enough, but you know, you'll have to play it by ear. But by having the classified, you're going to get an increased stat on either your electronics or your firearms, or how you want to roll it. I just chose to have more towards electronics than I do on firearms, simply because on this build, if you look at your ballistic shield, and when you're running D3, it doesn't really matter which one you're on, it's going to be pretty much about the same. You're going to get, right now I'm getting 1.3 million hit points on my shield. I want this shield to be able to suck up all that damage, so I can get up into their faces and really tank and don't have to worry about getting my shield eaten up so quickly. Now the balance is, I may try to focus it back to right at 1 or 1.1 million and scale a little bit more on my firearms, just because the nature of the faster you can kill them, the less time they have to do damage to you. So it's trying to find that balance of damage versus dishing it out and taking it. So again, you can run a Barrett's Bulletproof Vest either towards firearms or electronics, just so you can kind of split them up. Balance it however you feel the most comfortable. I like more towards electronics, so it's tougher. I can take more damage while still dishing out a buttload. So, and by having these extra right here, getting the bonus to skill power is going to increase my shield's damage capabilities even more. So that's just that thought on it. But again, I'm probably going to switch back over to one of my Lone Stars, just to try to get the ammo. And you see, now I am running a 3-piece, but I'm running a Ninja Bike messenger bag. Now, reason why I went with that is, of course, you definitely want the 15% protection from elites and 10% damage to elites. Again, we're doing this in PvE for the global event, so you want that. So when you can just, you do more damage to them and you take less damage from them, so you can just worry about focusing them down quick and just melting them faster. Using a mixture of firearms, have some health rolls on some of these, just because I wanted something else on my toughness, because every so often you're going to get one that gets behind you. And again, if you end up running the classified Lone Star, your 2-piece bonus is going to give you a bonus to your ammo capacity. So that's just something to consider, running one of either this, your chest piece, or your holster. In this case, on my holster, I'm running Final Measure. It's giving me exotic damage resilience, but again, I'm probably going to switch that back over to a Lone Star just for that one benefit. Now, we should also be getting 3 new classified gear sets. Not sure which those 3s are, but I know we got Reclaimer, Deadeye, and Lone Star last time. I believe the ones we're going to get is going to be... Sorry, we got Final Measure. Yeah, we got Final Measure, Deadeye, and we got Lone Star. Should be getting Reclaimer, Strikers, and what the hell's the other one? Sentry? I believe it's Sentry. But again, I like the idea of running classified on a holster specifically because your base stats. You know, 1272 is the max on your base roll for your stats across here. So if you have a God roll holster, and I've got a really good holster that's got 1272 on firearms and stamina with 1230 or so on electronics. So it's really good. I mean, it's got to roll on these two, but pretty good on that one. However, running a classified holster, your bottom numbers are going to be 1273. So your worst number you can get is already more than the best you can get off of a non-classified gear piece. So your max is now going to be 1401 instead of 1272. So run a classified holster. It's going to give you the most of your extra stats. It's just a good thing to do. So I will look at the other 3 gear sets whenever they come out and see if there's a way that I can tune this a little bit more. And I'm going to keep continuing to tune this setup just a little bit more to get ready for it. Trying to look at this section right here and this section right here. This for my survivability because I'm using a D3 shield, and this because I'm going to be running a submachine gun and I want to have high to critical hit chance and I want to shred their face big time. And once we get the global event in the PTS, I will definitely be showing my final builds of how I'm going to have them laid out. But this is the general way that I'm going to have this set up. Now, if you are in a group, then my good old handy dandy seeker mine and turret based tactician setup. I am running a 3-piece tactician set with the knees, glove, and mask with a ninja bag so that I end up getting the 4-piece set, allowing me to stack the proc from the tacticians. For the vest, I'm running Final Measure, and for the holster, I'm running Final Measure. That's going to give me 2 pieces, but with the ninja bag, it's making it look like a 3-piece. So now, I actually get exotic damage resilience and protection from elites. So I get that benefit going for me. Still trying to keep my skill haste up, and right now I had a little hiccup in this build and my skill was somehow below, but it is back to 50% right now. And I've heard somebody saying that they had 60+% on skill haste. 50% is the skill haste cap. The problem that I was running into when I had higher base skill power is whenever I start getting the tactician proc and the Barrett's chest that I was running and the setup that I was running at the time, I was getting over the 400k cap, and it was actually reducing my skill power back down to, I'm sorry, a 500k skill power cap, I think it was. I was going over the cap, and it was dumping my skill power back down to less than what this is right here. So this is, it works really well. And mods wise, I'm back and forth on how I feel for the particular day. And most of the time I run either Seeker Mine or I run turret mods. I'm kind of back and forth. I've got numerous of the 3.5s and several of the 4.0 on Seeker Mine damage and on turret damage. So as long as I keep my skill haste up and I'm running either of those two, just depends. I haven't found a sweet spot where one's better than the other. Most of the time I just mix it. It kind of works out about the same. But this particular build, if you've never seen me use this build before, whether I'm running solo or I'm running in a group, what happens is with the 50% skill haste, is specifically if you're in the global event, you really need to think about one thing is you get the close proximity buff for your damage. However, at extended ranges, the NPCs get a buff on their damage. So you can see, now these are 34 reds. They're nothing really spectacular. I throw the Seeker Mine out. They get that bleed effect going, and they're dead. It is just no skill involved whatsoever. It's funny, which is a skill power build, but it is no skill whatsoever. It's press E, left click, and wait a few seconds for them to die. The other thing is, with this build, with the 4-piece tactician, you want to build up those tactician points. Your turret will build those points. And as you see, I don't have anything underneath where you can see my secondary ammo count, the grenade counter, the med kit counter, and things like that. Nothing is there. Now, normally when I walk down the street, I find 400,000 patrols of frickin' NPCs. But the one time that I'm actually walking around and actually looking for them, then I'm not going to see the first one. There's one over here. So, by deploying my turret, don't have to put it that close, but, because you see I've got a hell of a range on this turret. You watch now, it's at 5 for tacticians. You watch that climb. It caps out at 30. But you see on the skill power, it keeps raising your skill power every time that number pumps up. Seriously, you're going to go over there and hide and just ruin this whole thing. Come on over here. Come on. Quit being a punk. I have to run into a spot where he's going to get forced. What you'll learn if you're running a coward build or a lazy build or whatever you want to call it is you make the mobs work for you. You don't go to the NPCs. You make them come to you. Now, as you can see, my base is 9,686 on electronics. I'm now currently at 421,000 on skill power. And that's only with 18 procced on the tactician. Now, unfortunately, they're all dead and can't really do much with them. But now I can turn that over and actually use that into this Seeker Mine. Now, if you watch, the initial pop of the Seeker Mine, over 100,000 damage, and then you have secondary damage, and then you also have bleed damage. Of course, they didn't live long enough for that to happen, but you dish out a major buttload of flipping damage with a good Seeker build. And you see my Seeker Mines are already back up again. It doesn't take long for them to come back. We're talking about on average 90 seconds in reality. So you have a 9-second respawn on your Seekers. So you can really just sit there and spam it. So for the global event, if you're in a group and you want to run this Seeker build, not a bad option. Hey JTF, can I kill you? No, you punk asses. So yeah, if you're running in a group, it's always a usable build. I mean, you can always sit there and stand behind a barricade, stand behind a wall, get yourself in a protected area, and just throw Seeker Mines over. Yeah, it's no skill involved in it, but know your place. Like right now, I just bought a new mouse because my last mouse was absolutely just, it was done. And yep, a lot of people are going to laugh at the choice of mouses that I use. You know, you got a lot of people talking about, well, I use this gaming mouse, I use that gaming mouse. No, I don't use a gaming mouse. My personal favorite mouse and keyboard combination, the keyboard's the Logitech K120. Let that sink in. If you don't know what it is, Google it. It's one of the cheapest keyboards you can find. I'm terrible on keyboards. I wear the letters off the keys, and these keyboards cost about 10 bucks. I'll go through them about every 2 or 3 months. I'll wear the letters off of them from playing and from using them, and I'll just chuck it in the garbage and I'll buy new ones. 10 bucks, whatever. The mouse that I'm using is an M100. I can get them off Amazon for 5 or 6 bucks, or I can go to Walmart and pick one up for 10 bucks. They're cheap, they're effective, they get the job done, and they work pretty well. I'm no quote-unquote pro gamer. I'm not some 14-year-old kid that can, or, you know, I'm not saying anything against 14-year-old kids, but just saying that I'm not one of the people that can tell the difference between the DPI resolution of a mouse versus one versus the other. I could care less. If I'm aiming and I move my mouse left and right, this works for me. Now, the one problem I am having with this mouse is it is new. So the bottom, the little pads that sit at the base of the mouse, not quite as worn in as the old mouse, so kind of drags on the mouse pad just a little bit. So I'm still getting kind of a herky-jerky movement whenever I'm moving the mouse just a hair. And it's just going to take time to actually wear it in. Not a big deal. So, I've gotten off topic on the global event, but like I was saying, this is a good auxiliary build if you plan on doing a global event and you don't have the skill to actually get up there and do the FaceTime. Say the D3 FNC set, what I'll do is after these guys fade away to nothing, which doesn't take very long, let's go ahead and wait for this long cooldown on the Seeker so I can actually switch. Alright, so loadout, D3 FNC. Now, like I said, the whole fun of this, if you, like I said, if you lack the skill to be able to move quickly, to really get in there and just dig in and throw some high firepower out and get up in their faces and just shred them down, then build yourself a D3 FNC setup. Again, for the global event, I would probably scale a little bit more on electronics till you get about 1.2 million on your shield. And a quick way to check that, hit the L key and left click on underneath security for your shield, and then left click on it. You'll see that I'm almost at 1.4 million, but as long as you're around 1.1 to 1.2 million, you should be golden on your shield, and then focus the rest of everything else for your firepower or your firearms. That should work out pretty good for you. I'm going to make some more adjustments to mine and see if I can bring the numbers up a little bit more. You know, don't use the numbers 100%. They don't always mean anything, because you can adjust your gear around to kind of offset that a little bit here and there. And so once you start getting perks from your gear, that's going to change things. Alright, so NPCs here. Got my shield. See, it's not bad as it is now. But during a global event, like I said, you want to get up in their face. Come on, shoot me. Shoot me. As you can see, I mean, he's running down here. As long as they keep facing him, keep looking right at him, you can shoot all he wants. Come on, what are you doing? Why are you running from me? Come on. Come on. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? I'm sitting here taking all these bullets, but, you know, He hits me melee and it knocks my health in. Take time, right click, aim, and shred him down. Now the reason why I'm using the M79, or you can use an ACOG or whatever, is because if you have to take a longer shot, you do have a scope and it doesn't get crazy. If you try using a 12x or 15x scope, you move a little bit and it's going to go all over the place and you're not going to be able to use it. So the low magnification scopes are a good combination where you're at SMG. So if you do need to make a more focused shot, you can actually get a little bit more dialed in. Just do short bursts and you'll stay relatively accurate. It's not a very good gun for long range shooting, but if you have to, you can. Just keep in mind that during the global event that the longer the distance they are from you, the more damage they're going to do. So the key objective here is to have a D3 build like this, or a good tanky build, which I'll try to put together maybe another tank build. But again, as a casual gamer, I'm going to throw that out there, saying the D3 FNC set is probably your best option for a casual gamer for getting some face time during the next global event. I'll take on this group, and then we'll end the video. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Come on, come on. Uh-oh, bad guy. Oh no. The division agent. Ah! Punks. Stupid LMB. See, that's where the bayonet would have come in quite handy. So, just a quick recap. D3 FNC build with more scaled on electronics than firearms because of the fact you're going to get that buff during the global event. And you want your shield to be around 1.1, 1.2 million health so that you get the most out of what you're actually working with. So that's my _1 build. You can set it up however you want to get that way, but my personal recommendations are going to be the Barrett's chest piece, Ninja backpack, and a 3-piece Tacticians, with the holster being an actual classified gear set. Maybe a Lone Star, whatever you have, but you run that to get your stats up even more. So hope that helps, and I'll do a more refined video as the PTS comes out. I will build the perfect build for it during the PTS, so that whenever the patch goes live, you'll know what to have and what to work towards. Alright, thanks for watching.